Hello trader, welcome back to another live trading session for Wednesday 25th of March 2026. This is another exclusive live session from Forex Trading Wizard Academy after pre-studies successful session, looking at to start another successful trading session. And I hope that all of you traders are ready here for making this move again with the market. And if you look at here, after this extended consolidation, the market had broken back to the upside here in that market on XAUUSD. So looking at potential entry in this market, I believe that you guys are ready for this big move, and we can see the market has entirely broken again back to the upside here in this lower time frame. We will be doing a complete multiple time frame analysis, and with this multiple time frame analysis also we will be looking at the overall picture in the market where it is heading. So make sure you, before I begin this analysis, traders, make sure you like the stream as YouTube algorithm likes it, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Also stay connected by joining the Telegram link you can find so that you can also get access to the regular updates, and also join the Sunday Zoom session if you want to be qualified for joining the premium Telegram premium academy lesson, as well as the education and trade setup. So let's look at here in this market here that I'm looking at. First of all, from the technical perspective that you will be looking at, this is where there was a, if you look at, there is a false breakout here, and the market has broken back to the upside here. So the market is in that zone here that if you look at, it's showing that there is a possible for a breakout here, as the market trend is bullish. I'm looking at daily and also the 4-hour chart. There is a breakout of this intraday support level, and in that breakout here with this inverted head and shoulder, the market has broken back to the upside. This is the technical. As we discuss every single day, we will be looking at this market from three lenses. Okay, so we will be looking at from the technical, fundamental, as well as the sentiment. So technical is what we are looking at here in the market, what you can see, and what you can see here, the fundamental. Okay, so the fundamental is what's coming up in the market, and also we'll be looking at the sentiment. What is now sentiment in the market, what the buyers are looking at in this market. If you look at the energy and metal, which one the investors and traders are being more of interested to look at. So here is the market. If you look at in this zone, it is showing that there is still, especially gold, after quite a few days of breakdown, the market has broken back to the upside here. Now if you looked at yesterday's live session that we discussed, traders, that this is a buy call for those who remember, and I would welcome if you remember, because this is where you started to learn the proper trading strategy and system, that when the market is eventually be heading in that area. So now if you look at here from this zone, this is throughout the week we saw that there was a break below. I'm going to the weekly chart. If you look at the weekly market structure, what do you see? That the previous two double pin bar. So here you can see the back-to-back two hammer, one large hammer, one small hammer. So back-to-back two hammer in that area. So two pin bar that has given this market a momentum in that area, and with this momentum the market has created this upside bias. If you look at closely, you can see that from this support level, the market has created this momentum back above here in that area. Now at this point, if you look at as this is the weekly pin bar that you can see in that area, so still this is in the middle of the week, right? You still have 2 more days for this market to eventually break above. Now the price has just traveled above the weekly open. This is where the market opened, and we have seen that once the market opened first day, there was a massive drop and a rejection back to the upside later. Now this is the weekly open, right? So the weekly open is important because this is where the market open, and we have seen the downside and reverse back above. Now because the market crossed that key level, right, and it's a historically what market? It's a bullish market, right? Historically we can see this market is in an uptrend, so what is going up is likely to go up, right? So therefore, if you look at the historical perspective, this market is potentially eventually likely to go up. So therefore, looking at the daily, now today, the previous day, we saw that a narrow small candlestick pattern formation here in that area, and with this narrow small candlestick pattern that you can see that has formed in that area, could be that the market eventually to move here back above in that direction, and that is where we could see the market to remain bullish here back above to create a new higher high in that market. So now looking at the 4-hour and lower time frame, so if you look at, this is the 1-hour market structure where there is a bullish engulfer has been formed. Now I'm looking at going back to the lower time frame. There is an order block. If you look at, guys, this is the 1-hour price action here. All right, so this is the 1-hour pin bar, right, which is a long doji. Now this doji had crossed this low and then eventually entirely broken back above. So that is giving a possibility this candlestick pattern to continue to rise, because there has been liquidity sweep and it formed this order block. So this narrow red candle that you can see, it's an order block. This is where the smart money traded this market, right? So we have seen a strong breakout, pullback with order block formation, potentially getting ready for a new higher high. So 4600, what do you think? What I think from the technical, 4600. Now on the lower time frame, I'm looking at here for another pullback. So this is the 1 minute. Now we came back to this lower time frame for an entry. Now this is key here to look at this lower time frame price action for us to be able to enter another position here in that market. So the technical price action here that you can see, it is an uptrending market structure. Now in that uptrend, because it is a technically, if you look at that, it is a bullish market. We could see that the market eventually cross this high and then to continue to rise here back above to create a new higher high. So lower time frame, this is the lower time frame market structure where we have seen a consolidation pattern that are expecting this market to potentially respect that support and then to reject back above, and that's where we will be looking at that entry of this key level, because we want to buy from an important area of value, right? That's why the technical. Now let's look at the sentiment. What is the sentiment today? I hope that you guys have seen that what is happening. So let's review what is the sentiment here now in the market. So you have seen some yellow folder news. I've seen quite a few red folder and a yellow folder. Okay, so here the first one, Iran receives 15-point US ceasefire proposal report AP. So so there is a 15-point ceasefire proposal from, I think, from the US. So therefore, if you look at this proposal, I have earlier that had looked at some of the I think points. That was the point of debate. So how does that now reflect in the market? That reflect in the market for gold to be bullish. This is what I can see. Welcome. Okay, so let's understand it. Why this ceasefire proposal news is bullish for gold. That's why I always tell you guys, always look at the news, look at the trend analysis, look at the technical, fundamental, as well as the overall. Okay, so looking at here, why this news potentially be bullish for gold sentiment is because we have seen that with the this war is mostly was shaping the energy market, right? So you can see that WTI started to show slight bearish movement. I wouldn't say that it's a strongly bearish, but you have seen that there is a bearish price action on WTI, right? WTI has been significantly upside that you have seen throughout the week. Now today's we can see the market is showing up here to be bearish. Now that is reflecting on gold as bullish, because with the current if you look at the current war in the Middle East, so that has in fact significantly impacted or influenced the market in many aspects. So therefore, if you look at that on because there was an upside on oil and we saw that there was a downside on gold, which is now reversing the other direction, right? With the ceasefire, if there is ceasefire, that means there is a potentially stoppage of the war, and that is where we could see some ease in the WTI price that might be bringing some move in gold, right? So gold, if you look at here, you can see that it's currently showing up that bullish trend on gold. Now the market trend here, it's a breakout leaving few imbalance in the market, right? So here is the imbalance. All right, so this is an imbalance. Now for me, traders will be looking for entry. We want to see this lower time frame trend line is broken, right? Then you will be looking at entry. You want to see the trend line is broken, then you will be looking at that entry here. So that being said, we are looking at here in that market at a trend entry of this key support level, and then we are looking at entry opportunity here in this market. Thank you for joining. And here you can see the market is slowly building. It's trying to break that low. If it breaks that low, we will be potentially be using a pending order for another wave of upside here in that market, and that's a key to look at. Are you going to see any calendar news coming up? We'll see tomorrow coming up unemployment claims. So today we have seen that in the morning CPI, and that news that you can see on AUD has been significantly increased the gold price. I think the market was waiting for this move, for this data. Once they came out, we saw that there was a strong gold price movement that you can see. Now today there isn't any USD news, but tomorrow coming up unemployment claims, which is another important news that you can see, and that is where we are looking at in this area here for this market eventually to break that low and then to return again back above. Now you want to see this breakout structure, because if you look at it, is now showing that there is a higher potential for a strong uptrend continuation, as it is just freshly developed new uptrend that I would say with the data, right? Now if you look at the yesterday, you have seen there was also news about the gold, and that has given the new direction in the market. Okay, so you can see that here is the move. We're looking at for this market eventually break that support level and then to reverse again back above. And this is 15 minutes market structure. With this bullish engulfer, we are looking at here this market to retest and then to return again back above. And I'm looking at, because this is a stronger momentum, so we have seen there is a sentiment that you can see the sentiment is bullish, and also technically we can see that bullish, and there is an imbalance. If you look at the market is zone, in this zone, this is the 5-minute chart, there has been an imbalance in that area. So the bias here that the market to go ahead and fill that imbalance. So any downside move, that means that bearish move can create for us an opportunity to go long, and you want to see the breakup structure here. You want to see the market is breaking out of the structure, and that's where you want to trade this market. All right, ready? Say yes if you're ready. What's the support level? 4532. Is well below. The market has gone way more up today. Thank you very much. Okay, so make sure also you keep the risk management plan, keep the lot size calculator, which is very important in terms of the entry. All right, so it's very important that you keep the lot size calculator. And okay, so if you look at here, this is a consolidation, and we might see eventually a breakout of that consolidation. Okay, now that move, you can see the price is trying to break that consolidation here, and off that consolidation the market eventually could rise back here above this level. And this is a narrow zone, which is an important area of value, and we are looking at in that zone for the market to eventually break above. Thank you. I see quite a few likes. Appreciate that. Okay, now it's getting I'm looking at the multiple time frame, guys. This is my habit that I look at multiple. You see the 15 minutes candle is closing. This is a narrow 15 minutes candle close coming, which is this 15 minutes candle close. What I think it's still bullish. I might look for an entry shortly for this potential move if we see enough confirmation here. You see that whenever the market is coming down, the buyers is putting pressure for the move back to the upside here. This is a consolidation that you can see in that area, and of that consolidation, they're expecting the market to break and then to reverse again back above. So with the sideways market, it's trying to break below here, and the 50-minute candle closed. So we'll be placing a pending order shortly above this level after the market drop back below. And as the market is breaking below here, we might create a potential a price action confirmation for us to be able to look for the entry. And I will be placing a buy stop order above this level, keeping the stop loss well below this level, which will be not a big gap, okay, which is a smaller gap, and we will be looking for the entry here 221, okay, and so here's where you can look at for a possible upside bias, as the market, if you look at in that area, form a narrow doji that expecting a potential break back to the upside to the major direction. If the market just has tested the 20 EMA, and of this 20 EMA, we could see the market to potentially reverse in that direction back above to create a new higher high. So it just got rejected. So it didn't break that high. Okay, so there is a break below, and what is trying to do, might be a false breakout, and pending order placed in there, might be entirely a false breakout. Where the market has this break below, now if the market, if you look at here, if this is a false breakout, we might see this market entirely breaking above and continuing to trend, depending on how now the market is creating its structure. It's essential to look at it might create an order block. Do you think so? The pending order is still there. So the market has created a very unusual market structure. To see might be starting another new move. This is interesting to see how the market has created the structure in that area, and I'd like to wait to see if the market created this is as a false breakout. We might see that with this breakout the market eventually creating another potential move back above, and we can see the market is reflecting on that. Few narrow candlestick pattern. This is a if this 5 minutes candle, if you look at the current one, closing as a narrower doji, either red or green, we might see that trend continuation here, and the pending order that we placed is there. And with this break below, they're expecting the market to respect that level and then continue to rise back here. And yeah, my pending order is there. We placed. Let's see that where the market is heading. And I think that there is a 5 minutes candle closing, which is a doji, and there is a chance for the market to continue. So this is a bullish price action. Okay, so here the market structure is shown to be bullish, and if this continues, you might see a new higher high here. Most likely would see that new uptrend continuation in this area. Because if this is a false breakout, which we could see the market to go ahead and hit, and so the 4583.89 is the pending order, and here few long wick candlestick pattern being created. It might try to break below. If it breaks below, then we may see in this trend continuation in that direction, but I think that chances for this market to continue to rise back up is higher, as this is an uptrending market structure where there is a break below. So this break below might create here a possible if you look at here, liquidity sweep, and could rise back up, though this is a doji. It's trying to break below. Let's wait to see where it's heading to. And I'm looking at here, guys, that the market to show a possible directional bias. So it is interesting if the market entirely break below here again from this. So you can see a move, again another drop, and so the 5 minutes candlestick pattern forming as a rejection of this lower price. Could be that there might be here a rejection that you could see here. The market is trying to bounce off this level. Okay, the pending order is there, guys. We place the pending order, will be there, and we might get a trigger ready to take the move. See, there is significant move happened, and we want to see that move going back up, and because there is a liquidity sweep here. If this market breaks above, still the trade is not active, but if the market goes above here, we may see that this market to create a new higher high. That's gonna be pretty interesting move to see if successfully goes back up. If there is a liquidity sweep, the chances for this market to go back up is higher. If it breaks out, that might be going to 4600. Essential to see the market is getting a rejection of this level here. This is a retest, and if this goes back up, it's gonna come back again. Okay, so we saw that there is another drop. Now this drop might be a catalyst for another move back up. Okay, so wait to see. It's interesting. So there is entire from this top that we, if this is now a double bottom here. Now if it goes entirely above, going back up, the market does this, guy. This is over and over again. The market does this from this high. It's a one single move to this key support level, and I think the chances for the market, this is another false breakout, and if that's another false breakout, we can expect in that direction trend continuation, because there is, after going back to this resistance line, it dropped back down here and created a significant liquidity sweep of this support, therefore expecting it to continue to rise back in the direction of the trend. So let's see if this move that you could see is continuing back again in the direction of the trend. So there is a liquidity sweep here, and that's a massive, if you look at break, and the candlestick pattern might continue to rise here back above. So if you look at, this is 20 MA retest, and our pending order is there. So if this is triggering us that trade, that's gonna be huge. So if you see that the market is triggering that trade, okay, we can see that here with this movement, this is a false breakout, and if it goes break to the upside here, we might see that this market eventually creating a new higher high, ready for to take the move. If it goes up again, we will be on the trade. We are on the trade, guys, and one more bounce can give significant move here, because it made a significant liquidity sweep from this support level here, that I'm looking to see a new higher high, a new trend continuation in that direction in this market, unless it's coming for another liquidity sweep. Come on, do you think it needs more liquidity again? I don't think so. Okay, so you see that the buyers trying to push that market up. You're back to back 2 times false breakout in that support level, creating a very stronger confluence for going back to the upside, and we are on the direction of the trend, guys. Now let the market do the job. If it doesn't do that, we can't do anything, but we are here to look at that, to trade in the direction of the trend. We'll leave the rest on the market, and we want to see that the market is in fact going in that direction that we are looking at. The market can do anything, it's the way the market moves. But if this is where we can see the market is creating the structure, so you can see that it's trying to build that momentum back above of this support, potentially to create a new uptrend, or going back again to break the support. So it's retesting this support again. This is the 1 minute chart, retesting the support again. And from that retest, successfully failed to retest, then we might see that continuation. After three candlestick pattern retest, if this is an uptrend, we should be able to see that moving up. If it's still moving down, we could see that further downside here. After being moved, the market usually take a breath, so it usually slows down a little bit for taking another move. Okay, it's breaking out, and we want to see going up here, guys, to take a new higher high. If it goes up to create this new higher highs, the market has had a multiple liquidity grab that we might see a new trend, new uptrend here, going to create a breakout and then going up to create a new higher high. There is significant imbalance back to the upside here, and with this imbalance, if it successfully goes up, you could see that trend continuation, but here struggling in that zone. When the market struggle like that, that's a sign of breakout. The sign of breakout, let's see that how far it's preparing for its move, though there is some kind of rejection again. I still didn't trigger. So look at the 5 minutes candle close coming, and mine didn't trigger. Have you got triggered, anyone? We might need few people going up for the trade to be active. Thank you. I'm still waiting. Oh yeah. Yep. Can you go? Now we are looking for this break to this resistance line. I'm really surprised to see how the market is trying to break below here. That's really interesting to see why the market is trying to break the low here, while we can see that there is a significant bullish price action. So this is basically strong liquidity grab. It's part of trading. This is how it works, because the market left liquidity in that zone, and which is coming for this to take all of that. It just has broken back below. So didn't trigger. I'm taking the pending order off. We'll be looking at new zone to look for the entry. Might entirely break below here now. It's very interesting market structure. So it has entirely a drop down back below here, and okay, so here is the market trying to break above. Now I'll bring my pending order below here, because the market has shown significant drop here, and if it breaks above here, they will be looking for the entry to the upside. It might continue to rise after break of this high. So new pending order that I'm placing buy stop at 4570. So place the new pending order here at 4570. I drop my pending order to this level, which is the buy stop order. At 4570, stop loss below this low 4560.29, and TP target above this high at 4582. So I placed a new pending order in that area, which is they're expecting it to break above here for another new higher high. So it continues to drop. If it continues to drop, we are not looking at any entry here. So our pending order is above. If it goes back up after the liquidity sweep, we might see that continuation back, or waiting to see how the market reacting to these levels here. So if it continues to drop here, I'm not looking at entry yet, because this is the 4-hour support the market has reached. And so the pending order is there, and I think this is the 4-hour support the market is potentially moving above. And okay, we might see an upside here, and we'll be looking to see what the market potentially be doing. Now, this may continue to drop. If it drops, I'm still looking at, because this is the 4-hour support, and from this support, the chances for the market to go back again to the upside is higher. So therefore, still expecting that from this support, because the market has come to the support, going back to the key level of resistance here. Okay, the 4-hour support, the market has broken back below of this 4-hour level. It was a strong rejection. Now, question is this now starting a new downtrend, or you could see that after this 30-minute candle close, we might see that continuation again back up. So this is a very sharp drop that you can see. So if we look at the daily, I'm deleting all the pending orders because the market had a sharp break below, and here to look to see that what the market is eventually, we might see a complete break to this key support area, and that might bring that market well below here. It's interesting rejection of this higher price. It was a massive drop that we can see, and we had a very high windage, so I really want to keep the things smooth. I think we go lower below 4466 level here. So where you looking gold today? So there is if you look at gold, really acting bit of funny market structure that you can see, gone up, come back down. Again, it's trying to break above. So here is, with this movement, the market is showing that there is a bounce back to the upside here. And okay, patience here is the key. Let's have a music here on. I think it might create a reversal. It's a very interesting market structure here that you can see in that area. And with a pretty long week candlestick pattern that you guys can see here in that area, just pretty long week, and with this long week we may see that the market eventually here going back in that direction that you might see. So the market is, if you look at the 4 hour, it's just tested the both direction. It's created a interesting long doji formation here in that area, which is interesting to look at. So where are you from? Thank you very much for our channel. Post-rejection, yep, ITP. I think we go lower below 4600. Okay, so looking gold. So what is the news came out? I don't see any scheduled news, but it's tomorrow coming up, unemployment claims. Okay, so here if you look at that, this is a very interesting price action here that you can see here. Okay, and with this interesting market structure, this is a long week 4 hour doji so far has formed, and that market structure that you can see, that is, this kind of market structure usually still signaling that bullish movement here. Therefore, if you look at this is 5 minutes candlestick closing, also creating a narrow pattern here in that area. Okay, and this is a, if you look at, that's a strong consolidation here in that area. Big drop with narrow range usually means you will see another impulse back below. Okay, let's see that here. The price action here is now showing the two-way directional possible here. Okay, both directional bias is showing in that direction here, because how the 4 hour candle close also important. But at the moment what we can see, that there has been a break below, and with this break below, as soon as the candle close, you can see the market is showing that there might be a bearish move here in that area. So we'll be looking to see how the price action is performing here in that area. And this is a long red bearish engulfer in that area with a bearish drop. Okay, now I would like to keep open to see in fact what kind of market structure it might be forming here in that area, and based on that you will be looking at the entry. So here, this is a narrow range that you can see in that area. Big drop with narrow range here. This is what you can see in that zone, the big drop with narrow range. And this is what you are looking at this market structure to see that how the price action is forming in that zone. And that is key to look at. And with this long week candlestick pattern, the market may eventually break to the upside, or we could see it coming down here, depending on, and until we see the directionally fully set, I would like to see the market to see in fact how the price action is being created here in that area. with this support here, the market is, if you look at maintaining that series of higher line, we could see that there is a potentially a break above here to create a new higher high, and we might see the price to eventually cross that level. It's interesting market structure being formed, and from the 4-hour that you can see, this is a long bearish candle. We still have 1 hour for this candle to close, and the current 1 hour price action that you can see also created a pretty long weak candlestick here in that area. Now that move could be another wave of liquidity gap, or we could see deepen here. So I'm still looking to see potential direction until we see the confirmation. Better to wait and see how the market might be forming the structure. In the meantime, I would like to start a poll there. What do you think, which way the market is heading? So what is your bias on XAUUSD today? Welcome. No idea, this confusing since I'm new to trading. So much news and manipulation. Okay, so that's a part of trading, guys. So this is, if you're new, then probably this is a best place, best channel that you can learn here, grow. We have a lot of new members. I also start trading new, right? No, I didn't know anyone who knows trading, but at the end of the day, you know, if you are dedicated and you know, want to become a trader, you can become. Okay, it's all about having a plan to trade, to learn, to grow. Join the Telegram. You can find link below this video for the regular update as well as education that I'm posting every single day. And don't miss out any of the content that I am posting every day. Sound is really interesting. So a few narrow candlestick pattern here, and that might be what I think. If you look at, there is a trend line, and 4-hour chart again. Usually when the market goes to this kind of zone where the market open, the price usually consolidate in that area on the lower time frame, and that's the zone where the market open, and it's consolidating here in that area that you can see few peep. Now breaking this support, Do you think it's gonna trying to break above here? Breaking the high after this few narrow candlestick pattern, showing that this market may be going back here above to this liquidity zone. It's gonna straight go for another liquidity grab. So the session with the NOI session, from this support, the market started to break above here, and with this break, that we can expect this market to eventually break that high. So this is if you look at this, is 5 minutes bullish engulfer. That is showing that the market to eventually reverse here back above, and we see that after this candle close, it's trying to break below, but there was a drop here after this move, and I think this might be now potential preparation for another break in that direction here in that market. So it's looking to see how the price action is creating that structure here. Candle close, and you can see that after this 1 hour candle close, the market is showing that there is a significant move. We can see that of this level here, it's slowly trying to break that low, and this is a complete fair value gap. We might see the market to bounce off that level. GBP JPY above stock. Okay, what's happening? From the intraday, from the 4 hour, if you look at, this is a after the previous session's narrow doji, this session the market has gone up, rejected back below, broken the low. Now it's on up again. So with DXY going up, isn't it more likely we see another drop? DXY is slowly trying to build its momentum, but is still not showing a strong move, as we can see on gold. Gold is pretty volatile now. DXY moving in a narrow range, but usually this structure, the price action that we can see on DXY is signaling buyers in control. And if that is the case, then we could see the market to go in that direction here on DXY. Now, if we look at the USD JPY, we can see that also showing bullish price action. That means buying pressure. Therefore, gold might move in a range. If you look at the daily, looking at daily always will give you a better understanding of the overall the price action and the market context here. On the XAUUSD, this is the daily price action that you can see, and with this daily price action where this is support here, which is a key level of support on XAUUSD, and we have seen that from this zone here, it's entire drop down here back below to this support, and from here the market is slowly making its way back to the upside in that area. So therefore gold from the daily is trying to pull back to the upside, but because there is a selling happened recently in this area, we could see if the market wants to pull back over, I think it may come back down here to the support if DXY going up. Now there is as we mentioned, that another key factor to look at is the fundamental and the news, current sentiment. So you can see that we saw that Iran receives 15-point US ceasefire proposal, but later we have seen another one has come out, which says Iran does not accept a ceasefire and Iran does not accept a ceasefire and entering this path with a party that has violated the covenant. News agency. Okay, so that okay. So what do you think? How get this gonna influence the market? So we saw that in our previous hour there was an proposal, I think came from the US for the 15 points ceasefire proposal. Just in ceasefire proposal. Okay. So, and now the next one is saying that they don't accept that, so that means it's on, right? I would say that it's usually, if you look at from the independent perspective, ceasefire happen in a war, right? So when two party engage in war, or two or more parties, then trying to find out the meaning of convent, contract, compact, treatly pact. So that means that deal or contract or an agreement. So usually, if you look at that, when two or more countries engage in war, they already break that covenant, right? Without breaking the deal, you can't engage in war. And if that's the case, then ceasefire is applied to the war. In any war, if there is a ceasefire, that has to be between the party who are in war. And if someone not breaking the covenant, that means that deal, then it is not in a war. War means that there has been broken something already. So in that case, doesn't make sense to me that usually ceasefire has to have when there is a breakup covenant. It's my personal opinion that I'm saying that. It's not that. So when there is a breakup, violation of covenant, then you need a ceasefire. But if the condition of ceasefire is because they violated the covenant, then there is no ceasefire. I think doesn't make sense to me anyway. It's my personal view, but we are looking at the market here at the moment, and let's see how it does. John's president, this when Tropic was blacklisted. Okay. That seems a pretty low bar. I guess you guys understood what I mean. Okay, so with DXY going up isn't more likely. Let's see another drop. I entered another sell at 4567. So another way of saying is, for example, What are your thoughts on another week? Last one week test from Monday low. Okay. From the daily. So this is the weekly move that you can see on gold. And with this weekly move, in that area here, okay, so in the meantime, if you haven't liked this stream, make sure you do so, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you're not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. Okay, so with this initial breakout that you can see here is the narrow pullback that you can see in this lower time frame, and sort of looks like double top with a retest of the neckline on 5 minutes. Yeah, so the 5 minutes here is the double top, and so what I tried to explain that if we paraphrase this one, does Iran does not accept a ceasefire and entering the path with a party that has violated the covenant. So if we paraphrase it, that we say, okay, Iran will accept ceasefire entering this path with a party that has not violated the covenant. So if that has not violated the covenant, there's no point of ceasefire as well, right? So this is what I tried to make. Now if we look at how that next step going on, but I think it's very uncertain. So the market also feeling that uncertainty. And we can see that there is significant volatility at the moment. And we see that the volatility trading is interesting. I have also posted earlier analysis if you guys looked at. And at the moment we can see there is in this area there is if with this stronger bullish confluence in that area here, still we haven't looked at any entry. Previously we entered quite a few positions if you guys looked at, and now what we are looking at this level for this market to give us possible entry. And I think if you look at, this is a flag pattern in that area, and that flag pattern has broken back below that. We can expect it to break above here in that area. So therefore, because there is a false breakout, we may see that the market to eventually cross this high here, and because there is a false breakout in that direction here, we could see the market to eventually break above. What do you think here? Do you think we can go for a long here in that area? You know, guys, what's your bias said? It's suddenly gone to in a sideways market that you can see, and with this sideways movement, because the market moved in a sideways quite a bit of while, and also there is a false breakout here, I think there is a potential for an upside bias in that market here. And usually when multiple times the market create this kind of false breakout, that's a sign of moving in the direction of the trend. That's what we could see that here in this market, that if you look at. So therefore we are looking at in those areas to give us an entry back above. All right, so the next thing that we will be looking at, because the market is creating significant liquidity sweep here, and I'll be looking at few more pairs to see what you can see that WTI is slowly creating its momentum in that area. If you look at here, and XAUUSD, USD/JPY is pushing up, so therefore gold might still remain for short term downward or sideways, but I think the long term trend on gold is bullish. So we also looking at here at the moment, this is this zone, we still have 30 minutes for this 4-hour candle to close, but I think that with this candle close we might see a complete direction after the candle close, because if it is closing as a strong bullish candlestick pattern, we could see that this market to eventually continue to rise here back above, and we could see that to happen in that area. All right, so let's see how it goes. That's what the key here to look at. Now this is if you look at here, there is there's an order block formation. That's another important point. With this false breakout, it formed that order block, and the market is slowly breaking above here in that area. So sentiment is showing gold. If we look at the XY, there is a mixed way of moving. In fact, if you look at the market, is more often now is mostly governed by the breaking news. Okay, so you can see the quite a few breaking news, and then mostly the market is sentimental. Okay, we can see the news coming and there is a move, but what we are looking at here, looking bullish now. Yeah, we can see that's where happened. So this zone, it entirely broken back to the upside, so that may continue here from this support. So always keep eye for the what is happening so that you have a better understanding of the market. And I think we should sell. No, this is a rising market that you can see. Right? Okay, so with this break, if you look at, that's the initial move and the market is slowly breaking back up here. A little boring today, but that's how trading is, right? Let's have some music. But once we have the trade, once we are entering into the trade, we are up. Okay, keep in mind that trading is the way it is, but it's rewarding. Okay, so after creating a new higher high, it's breaking that low. Now this is the 1 hour support that you can see the market has come back to this 1 hour support, and of that 1 hour support, that looking at this market to eventually move up. Okay, so with this, is it a false breakout? It's now trying to break below again. Really not making a clear directional bias. And if we look at the 4-hour candle close coming in 20 minutes, and with this kind of close, the market, if this intraday candle closing as a strong bull candle, we might see continuation above. If it is closing as a narrow doji, it is still can come back down, but I think the market might be in a bit more range here. And we had a big trading week, guys. You can see that this week as well. And with this current tomorrow also coming up another big trading week, trading day. Come on, it's not trading day, as there is also coming up unemployment claims. And we had a yesterday we had two trades, I guess two trades in this live session. Today as well, the market is a bit in a sideways that you can see, but that is basically bringing a new trading opportunity for us in this upcoming sessions here. And I strongly believe the traders enjoyed this live session. If you enjoy, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Stay connected by joining the Telegram. And I'm almost nearing to the end of this session, but we haven't had any trade, but we had a discussion, we had a fun, and we had looked at the market. We have found a direction. So I would like to see you there again trading tomorrow in this live session. You can see the market is consolidating here, and I'm looking for further entry in that area. That being said, traders, thanks for joining here, and take it easy, and we'll be looking for tomorrow another entry. Until that, stay well, stay happy.